So the average guy you're working with, he's getting laid like once every 3 months.
Yeah, some
So like
from I would say from
like 3 dates a month. One of them he gets laid on.
3 dates and yeah, basically.
Okay.
Because I asked, so the first question I ask guys when they call or when they contact me is, are you looking for something casual or something long term? Right? Well, something casual. When's the last time you got that? Most common answers is around the 3 month to over a year.
What % are looking for casual versus long term?
So the most common answer is, I want something casual that develops into something long term.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they want.
I mean, isn't that kind of what people are doing?
Yeah, that's
anyway?
what people want. But it's almost like a trick question in a way. But yeah, that's the most 80% of guys are like.
Yeah.
And then I would say
I find that guys want relationships more than women.
Nowadays, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nowadays they do.
It's too much free shit for being a single girl. Yeah.
Yeah, a ton. But a lot of guys struggle with that. You know, they struggle with hooking up, let alone having a relationship.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But so your average guy, he's getting laid once every 3 months. And is it once, twice?
Twice a year.
Holy
average
shit.
guy.
That's like nothing.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
You got to keep in mind, I talk to probably messaging, right, on Instagram, right? They're always messaging, probably like 100 to 200 guys, okay? Out of those, maybe 4 or 5 had a hookup within the last couple of weeks. Just think about that.
Yeah.
The rest has been over 3 months or over a year. It's rough.
And so the guys that are doing really well, what's their like?
The guys that are doing really well.
Like, what would you say is someone doing really well?
I mean, right, if the average guy is getting 2-3 lays a year, right, you double that, that's really well, right? You're doing really, if you're getting laid once every 2 months, getting laid once, twice every month, you're doing extremely well. But the more well they do, the better position they are in the genetic pool. And it's the direct correlation. It's kind of like common sense. So those guys they don't need help with women.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the guys that are like normal guys that want to go from like a 5 to an 8 or like a 5 to a 7.
Exactly.
Where it's like they're not going to be selected if they don't have good hygiene, good.
Everything has to be on
Where if
point.
a guy's like a Chad, it's like you can do anything, and they're like.
Yeah, and the easiest way to tell if you're a Chad or not is to go on Hinge or on Tinder.
Yeah.
Right. The number one filter on Hinge is height.
Yeah.
It's the number one filter.
Can't you just lie? If I was a guy, I would just lie.
But then what? You see her.
But if she's like 5, like women don't know height.
Yeah, but
like if you're 5'5", you're not gonna know the difference.
Right. So how much? Let's do a little test. So how much would be acceptable for you to lie about?
I mean, I would just go all the way. I'd just put it to 6 if I was a guy.
6. If he was how tall? Like
5'8".
4 inches,
foot,
right?
Yeah.
How tall are you?
I'm 6.
Right. I'd say the guy was 6. He shows up. He said he was 6'4". You'd be able to tell right away. Most girls are 5'8".
But I'm tall though. That's different.
No, but most girls are 5'8", 5'6", 5'6". Let's say most girls are
5'5".
5'5".
Yeah.
Right. If he says 5'9", or he's 5'5", he says 5'9". The problem is the guys that have to lie if they did to get more matches are not average height. Average height's not a problem.
It's that they're super
it's below.
short.
It's super short, right? So the height, it doesn't work. Right. If the average guy, sure, he lies, but he didn't even have to lie in the first place. Because it's like average height. It's okay.
Like 5'10" to 6'1".
Exactly.
Like
that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you're
would you
5'4",
suggest they lie though that much? You might as well, right?
No, for guys who are short,
5'10",
the best thing to do.
Like if I was 5'10", if I was a guy, I'd
you just round it up. Yeah. You could round it up, right?
Because if they have all the filters at 6, wouldn't you want to be? You could tell me. You're the coach.
Yeah.
But...
Well, this is what guys should do, right? Guys should approach in person first. And use Hinge, Tinder as a secondary tool. Right? The way I tell guys to run it is go get your main girls from doing your approaches at your meetups during the day, when you go out at night with your buddies, whatever. That's where you're going to meet majority of the women that are going to date you, right? Because they're correlating to your lifestyle. But use Tinder and Hinge to kind of practice, right? Maybe set up a date or 2 Monday through Wednesday, right? So it's just a secondary tool. It's not your end all be all, right? So if it's your secondary tool, I don't see the point in lying and just getting comfortable with yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because really, you know by doing it during the day, during the night, during your meetups, right? Wherever you go for whatever events, you know that you're enough when you approach these girls. Well, I'm 5'10". When I approach these girls in person, I know I'm enough as a guy. So you won't feel the need to lie, you know, because you're proving to yourself, I'm the guy. But if you want to lie about it, you can go ahead. It's not going to hurt you. But if the girl there's a problem. When the girl does say something, what is he going to say? Oh, I freak out. Oh, no, I'm 6 foot with this or whatever. Breaks his frame. Now he's like awkward.
Yeah,
so if you're going to lie, be a goddamn good liar. Right? Because then she's going to say, yeah, no, I'm 6 foot. What are you going to do? Yeah, move on. Right? No, it's the truth. So if you're going to do it, don't be all, you know, pits pandering around when she asks you. And you have to stand up with it. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long does it take? Like, I know you said a virgin can lose his virginity in 3. How long does it take for a guy to go from like nothing to expert level, I guess?
3 months.
Really?
3 months. 3 months.
No way.
So,
that quick?
Yeah, that quick. So, I mean, the way I run it, right? So you got to think about it like this.
They want to know why they shouldn't just rent the women, like buy them like hookers.
Because that's just a slippery slope, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think if you're willing to buy hookers, you have a deeper problem.
Yeah.
It's a deeper problem than that. I mean, it depends on your goal too.
Right.
Right. If you want a family, buying hookers is not the way to go.
I would recommend. But I'm not here to.
Yeah, it's not the way to go. Being transactional with women is not the way to go. There's a difference between an emotional, financial transaction.
Yeah.
At least when there's an emotional transaction, she's doing some emotional investment into you as well, right? And so the loss, if there is a loss, it's parity.
Why do you think guys spend so much time on women that clearly don't want them? Like, why? Like, because sometimes I'll just watch. I'm like, why are you? She doesn't like you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there'll be guys that'll wait like months to have a girl sleep with. Like the biggest one that I've seen, these guys that they think the girl's like different or special, and she's like waiting for sex, and I'm like, dude,
no, you're naive. You're naive. You're a naive young boy. And it's crazy because the guys, you think like, oh, what? When you think of a naive man, what age range do you think of?
I think of 2. I think of either under 27 or very religious and just hasn't partaken in anything.
Right. The average guy, right, who's not religious, the average guy is not religious.
Yeah.
They're naive up until their late 30s. Because I've talked to guys when I message them, right, whatever. They're like, I'm still trying to get with this girl. I've known her for a year or 2. How old are you? 37, 38.
No way.
Yeah. So men are so naive nowadays, right? And to answer your question, they get so hung up on one girl that doesn't want them because that's the only girl that gives them time, that gives them attention. Because guys, they don't realize this, but guys do need emotional reassurance as well, almost, right? They do need emotional attention almost, right? And that girl's the only one that talks to him. And so in his mind, it's like, that's the only opportunity that I have to make anything happen because I don't know any other girls. That's the only girl I know. And that's the only girl that talks to me. And so they approach it from a scarcity mindset because they don't know any other girls. And so they're so hung up on her. They come to me.
There's none?
They come to me and they say, that, well, this is a girl, I really want her. I've known her for 6 years. And the first question I asked them was, well, how many other girls are you talking to? 0.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm scared. The real issue is not that you can't get her. The real issue is that you can't get anyone. You know? And so that's the mentality that these guys have. And it's really a scarce mentality. Right? It's kind of like going fishing and then looking for one fish, even though there's 1,000 fish out there. But no, I want that one. Right? Because that one is the only one that bites my bait. What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense. So that real problem is that they can't get anyone, that they can't build attraction, that they're afraid of failure, right? They're afraid to get rejected. A lot of stuff.
Well, do you think that, because you ever see guys, like, even though they have other choice, they still hyper fixate on like one?
Yeah, when you're in love,
yeah, but it's like sometimes like the simping is just,
the simping is different.
Yeah,
right. Simping should be illegal. It should be illegal.
Yeah,
simping should be jail time. Because think about it.
Yeah.
And what did I tell you yesterday? What did I say? I said, if you have social media as a guy, and you're not monetizing it, right? Or you're not proactively,
what are you doing?
If you're not proactively working to make it good, right? And I mean, like, make a presence on social media. I mean, something meaningful, not just good pictures and shit. But if you're not doing those 2 things, delete it. Why? Because you're brain rotting, watching dumb stuff, and you're liking pictures of girls that don't even know who you are.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's how the simping starts. Even though you might not be a simp, right? You might not be that simpy. You like one picture of a girl a week. That's enough because that adds up, right? There's a million men that are single, you know?
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you a lot of them aren't doing it. If you go on the average guy's explore feed, what are you going to see? Probably just a bunch of girls.
Yeah. Do you know what? I heard that even when men downvote the stuff, it still like goes on there.
Yeah, because social media is like, it's either you hate it or you like it.
Yeah.
And so we're only going to show you either.
Yeah.
Right? And so if you go walk down the street, this would actually be a cool video. Walk down the street and see, let me see your explore page. Most men will have some sort of ass on there.
Yeah.
Right? So I say delete it. If you're not monetizing it, if you're not working on it, delete it and go find women the right way, and that will bring balance back to the dating space.
Do you see like a lot of guys using their phone as like a crutch for like the lack of female intimacy, especially with like Gen Z becoming more online? Is that a problem for you, like antisocial guys?
I mean, right now the guys that I'm working with a lot, right? I think Gen Z, they're coming into the picture, right? The youngest guy we're working with is 19.
Okay.
A very smart 19-year-old guy, right? Because he's already like, I want to figure shit out, right?
Yeah.
So he's very smart, you know, Gen Z. But the average age we deal with is 25 to probably 40. Okay. Right? That's a good range of guys that we have on the calls. But I do think that the more prevailing social media gets, the better it is at disguising your lack of communication skills, right? Your insecurities, all these things. And so I think it'll come to light. We'll see how it materializes. But right now, Gen Z is like up and coming. They're like coming into the
guys.
Yeah, they're coming into the dating scene. And I think Gen Z girls are even worse in social media spaces.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Right?
Just social media is way worse on women than men.
Yeah. And so these Gen Z guys they're in for a rude awakening because all those Gen Z girls, they've been on OnlyFans for a while. They're getting snatched up by, you know, the older guys who don't want anything serious. Now they're in their 30s, financially stable. They're having fun. They're like, I made it, right? This girl's 22. She's super hot, right? And she cares about status and stuff. I could take her out over here. And so that's kind of what we say.
Oh, actually, I'm curious what you think of the stat where it's like twice as many women under 30 are in relationships than men under 30. Do you think it's because the women are dating the same guys or because they're dating older or both?
So
could be both. I'm just curious your thought, being like in the field.
Yeah, I think they're dating older.
Yeah.
For sure. It's really hard I think once a girl passes age 22, 23, dating within your age group leaves the picture. Because what happens with girls in college, right? You're still in college around that time. And if you stay in the same city, your college group will still be to a degree like the same, right? Same with high school sweethearts and stuff. But you get judged if you date outside of your social circle at that age, you know? Well, he's not even in the fraternity or whatever, right? And so it's not as acceptable to date from the outside. But once you're in the real world, now it's fair game.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you go approach girls in the college campus, that's fucking weird, right?
Right.
But if you go approach a girl at the club who just graduated, who's 24, that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? And so you have these guys, and then that's kind of like where the competition really begins. So what you see a lot too is these younger chicks dating older guys. And I think most girls that we talk to, it's the age range that they date is always, I think they cap it at like 10 years. Like if she's 25.
That's what I've seen about too, about 10 years.
If 25, I'll only date over to 35.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I think that's a pretty good range, but yeah.
When I was single, like the cap was 20 and I think I was abnormal. Like I think like girls thought I was weird.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't go past 20.
Yeah, that's what you see.
But like 10 is the most common I see. And what do you think about a PI came on and he said that he would guess oh my God, I can't remember the number off the top of my head. He thinks that it was roughly 40% of women under 30 that are not fat have done some sort of sex work. If you include things like sugar dating, occasionally having sex for rent, OnlyFans, selling nudes on Instagram. Do you think that is accurate or do you think he's kind of overblowing it?
I think it's overblowing it.
Okay.
The thing with these studies that I'll say.
Well, he didn't have a study. It was just from his thing. Like, because his job was to vet girls to marry them.
Okay, yeah.
So like, it's like if you had a girl you wanted to marry, you bring him to him, and he says.
So what I would say is, trends move fast, and societal norms move fast as well. right? Where it wasn't accepted 5-10 years ago to post a nude online, right? Everybody freaked out about nudes. Now they're selling it for $3, right?
Do you know what's crazy too? I was just at like a UFC gym doing some interviews there, and they were telling me, like, I was asking the guys, would you date a girl with like an OnlyFans, like if she had one before? Yeah. And I couldn't believe how many of the guys said they would. And I'm like, don't you guys have like other choices?
You also got to realize that.
And I'm like, it could just be entertainment. Because I know in entertainment it's like a little different, but I'm like, really?
You got to realize though. You got to realize guys who fight, they're not the most normal guys.
They're not. No, they're totally not. But I just kind of was thinking, I'm like, you guys have the ring girls throwing. I'm like, I'm not dumb. Like, you guys have. Why would you? Yeah. They're like, yeah, as long as she deleted it. I'm like, what? She's not. She's not even I just couldn't believe it. Like, it's gotten normalized so fast that they're like, as long as she didn't have like actual sex on camera. So I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And they're okay with it. And so that's
I don't
what I'm
think
saying,
okay, right? But like they would accept if you're, they would accept it.
It's just becoming a norm.
Yeah.
And so that's what I mean, where it's like, if he's vetting these girls, I think it's moving so fast and technology moves so fast, right? The innovation levels and that. And I think societal norms go with it, right? The good and the bad. And so what you see is these things becoming more common. And because they're more common, what guys end up feeling like is like, if I don't accept it, I'm not going to get anyone. So I should come to terms with it.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
And do you think there's some truth to that?
I think there's some truth to it, right? You look at back in the day. What was back in the day? Well, I don't want my girl to work a corporate job. She should be a stay-at-home mom. But societal norms catch up. It's like, oh, maybe it's okay for her to work, right? And so that's what we're seeing, but it's getting worse. And I think as guys, I do think it's their job to put a stop to be like, no, I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
I need to stop feeding that machine. And I think it comes down to simps. And I think they're the problem. I think you made a video about it. Yeah, they are the problem.
So wait, what do guys request the most in terms of like the types of girls they want?
They just want a good girl with decent head on their shoulders. As far as like body count, all that type of stuff, they want single digit body count.
Yeah.
They're like, and not just single digit body count.
But they can't, how would you even verify that?
So you can, but before I go into that, they want single digit body count and they want the single digits to come from long-term relationships.
Yeah.
Not just a hookup.
Yeah.
And it's really bad because girls don't count the hookups.
Oh,
they only count the guys that they dated that they slept with.
They don't count like anal either. The Christian
you go to
girls.
Utah. You go to Utah, they don't count it. Yeah. So going back to your question is like, how do you verify that? And I think this is where guys go wrong is if you make her feel judged in any way, shape, or form, she's not going to be her true self around.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to come in, and even though it bugs you, you got to learn to have a poker face.
I had a show called Men's, like, what's the craziest thing a girl said to you, and you had to keep a poker face. Yeah. It was a call-in show.
Yeah. And so that's what happens is they have to learn to keep that poker face so they could learn the truth about the girl.
Yeah.
And that happens just when you're trying to learn the truth about anything. Mm-hmm. Right. The CIA probably does this when they're trying to learn the truth about other, nations or whatever, and spies. I think when you make her feel comfortable and like you're not judgmental and open-minded, she will tell you a lot more than you don't want to hear.
But women are smart. Like, you know what I mean? Well,
yeah, but you know what? They are smart. But what I will say is most guys cannot keep that poker face. So when they do find a guy that keeps it, it's like, oh, I finally can talk about it with a guy. And then
that's true.
They get excited about it.
Yeah.
Right? But that's why it's so rare for a guy to be not judgmental and keep a poker face. So guys need to learn to do that if you don't want to play yourself. Right? And then obviously private investigator if you are looking for like marriage and stuff. But
even the PI said there's some stuff like
you can't.
You can't know.
Yeah. The only way to do it is by.
So what I mean, like single digit, like there's a phrase that they have. It's like assume all women are sluts, but don't obsess.
Yeah, there's
because it's like how would you?
There's a saying I say is every girl's a slut except my mother and my sister. So it's like it's funny, right? But in hindsight, you have to make her feel so comfortable.
Yeah.
Because then she's gonna open up to you. I've had girls, right, that I've talked to that just out of curiosity. They're bottle girls that they work in the industry, and they feel so comfortable around me, right? And I'm like, yo, just out of curiosity, like you have to work up to it, right? Would you sleep with that guy? Yeah. No way. How many have you slept with, right? But they feel so comfortable around me, like I'm never gonna judge them, right? Probably like 70 or 80. No way. That's super dope. Right? In my mind, I'm like. Crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But once they feel comfortable, think about it like this. If you were her gay best friend,
Yeah.
She would open up to you.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. So there has to be a level of comfort to get the actual truth from these women.
So what are the numbers you've gotten?
So the ones that I've gotten, right, because
like how many women have given you these numbers, like roughly?
A lot.
Okay.
So, right on one end, you have the girls that work in those industries. They're a lot of fun, right? They're gorgeous, but the numbers are high, right? 70, 80. I talked to one. She was a friend of the one that I was hooking up with. Probably like 90, 100. So huge, right? But you also have girls who are.
So what is that like per year? Like, is it like how many dudes is she sleeping with at a time?
You're gonna find this crazy. They're young chicks. They're like 25, 26, which is what, do the math. I don't know.
Well, because average age you lose your virginity. That's over 10 years, right? 16
Yeah.
to I think 25, 26.
Yeah.
So like how many, like when you were talking to her, like how many dudes was she seeing that week?
I could tell you this.
Did she like
any girl? No, I could tell you this. And you probably attest to it. Any girl could call a guy at any given point.
Yeah,
and the guy will answer.
Yeah.
Right. And girls have hormones too. They're not as horny as men, but they have hormones, right? They're like.
I think women are almost hornier at the right time.
Yeah, when they're ovulating.
Like I mean, if you see women like. They almost like attack male celebrities. Like they sneak into their hotel room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
they're psychos. Women are psychos. Yeah. And so that's what you see. But you also get the other tail end, right, of girls who did have that one or two relationships that were 2-3 years long, right? And maybe her body count's 3 at 23 or 24. You do have those type of girls for sure. Right, they tend to be more introverted, reserved type girls. That's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack nowadays, but they're definitely out there. Right, you just have to look. And when I say you have to look, that's what guys aren't doing. They're not going out there. They're not putting themselves out there.
Well, what industries would you tell them, like, or places would you tell them to look?
Yeah, I would. My favorite spot to go to is usually like coffee shops. Right, coffee shops are huge, especially with the remote work culture going on. A lot of guys work remote, especially if you're doing anything digital. So any remote work, get out of the house, go to the coffee shop, right? Think about if you have an introverted friend, where do introverts hang out, right? Because usually those girls are shy, right? So they won't go up to that celebrity. They won't do it, even though they might be attracted, they won't do it, right? Because they're shy, right? Even if the hot Chad guy comes and talks to her, she doesn't know how to handle it.
I know, but the introverted whores, they do the biggest damage because the men don't see it coming.
Yeah, they don't see it coming, but that's on
I'm
them.
not saying all I know.
Yeah, but that's on the men. That's for you being naive.
I know, I'm like, the girls that do the most damage are like the introverts. Yeah. Because the guys do not.
So, funny you say that. The definition of a heartbreak is when a girl behaves in a way that you didn't think she would.
Yeah.
That's heartbreak.
Yeah.
Because you thought she was one person and she was not. And so that matches perfectly, right? That's why they do the most damage. You think she's one girl, but she's not.
Okay, how long are they going to go between, like...
Introverted chicks? Or?
I don't know. The girls I meet with really low body count, they recycle exes. That's, like, their thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a double whammy, right? Would you rather have a...
I had one guy say that he likes those girls because he wants to be recycled.
That's so funny.
He's like, then I'm in for life.
He believes in climate change.
Go on, though.
Yeah. So that's kind of like what you face in the dating scene.
Yeah.
It's what you face. Yeah, it's just what it is. It is what it is. We're not in Elden times anymore.
No, I was just curious because you said the one girl had like 90.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, like, but how many guys was she banging at a time?
I know she had, she opened her DMs, right? She had, probably like 30,000 followers.
1 to 10, what was she? Like, looks?
Like a 9, 8.
Oh,
but she was all done up.
Okay.
Right? You take those features away, it's like probably like a 7.
Yeah.
But guys don't know. Guys can't even tell. But
they can't.
Yeah, it's even though they say, "Oh, I know, I can tell," but if you put her in front of them, they'll freak out.
So tired of men telling me that.
Yeah, I know. They say that.
They're
all the
like,
time.
"Oh, that girl's natural." I'm like,
yeah,
she's not.
We ran boot camps, and guys are like, "Oh, I don't like that fake stuff." And what I do on purpose is, because in Vegas you get a lot of those girls.
Yeah.
Right? And then I introduce them to one of them, to a girl that's all done up, and then I talk to him, and I'm like, yeah, because I know the girl, but pretending like them, right? Mm-hmm. Just to see how their reaction is, just so they could get a reality check. And then I talked to him after. It's like, dude, I loved her. I thought you said you didn't like that. So a lot of guys is like they're okay with it. It's just how the girl makes them feel, right? It's like at the end of the day,
It's like they got negative reactions from those girls before,
exactly.
so they don't let, they kind of,
again, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah, it's the association.
Cope harder. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah.